Let's check on the cameras of this Galaxy M34 in this video. It comes with triple camera setup on the back, 50 megapixel primary sensor, 8 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel macro sensor. On the front we have 13 megapixel selfie shooter. If we check the camera UI, it is typical Samsung UI. We get different things like portrait, night, photo, video. Under more options we have different things including macro, and I like this function, single take. The camera UI is a bit slow, I would say. This is what I've found. So now let's check on the samples. First of all, let's start with the video samples. Here is a quick sample from the front camera. The front camera can record up to 1080p 30 fps videos. You can check the quality. Today it is quite cloudy here in Vadodara, but I must say that the video quality is actually looking good. Yeah, the stabilization apparently is quite okay. Not that great, but yes, good. And you can check the dynamic range. It is also good, and I'm actually happy to see the smooth transitions. If you check the quick movements here, yeah, the dynamic range is actually looking good. Yes, actually it is good. Okay, now let's walk faster to check the stabilization, and you can see that it is doing a pretty good job. Not bad actually. Yeah, and particularly I'm happy to see the the dynamic range. It is actually good, not bad. Okay, now let's switch to the rear camera. So here is a quick sample from the rear camera. This is recorded at 1080p 30 fps, and I have not enabled the super steady mode to check the default OIS here. And apparently I must say that the dynamic range is actually looking good. Now let's check the autofocus here, and you can see that it is actually doing a good job. Yeah, apparently I must say that the colors, they are a bit boosted. Yeah, maybe this is because of the screen, the AMOLED screen. Now let's check the focus here again. You can see that the autofocus is quite sharp. Yeah, now let's walk faster to check the stabilization here, and I must say that the OIS is actually making a difference here. And I'm not using any external mic, so you can check the the sound capture as well. Normally I found that Samsung devices, they are good at when it comes to recording videos particularly. Yeah, and you can see that the quick movements, they are also looking good, not bad. Yeah, it is actually good, not bad. Yeah, yes. So yes, let's walk faster again. So yes, the stabilization is there. It is actually good, not bad. Okay, now let's switch to super steady mode. So now this is 30 fps, but I have enabled the super steady mode. So you can see that yes, yeah, there is a difference. Yeah, but it looks a bit artificial. Obviously it is artificial, but it is not looking that natural. The movements are a bit floated, I would say here. Okay, now let's check the focus here. I think details, they were better at 1080p without the super steady mode. So yes, it requires more light actually to capture details. If you enable the super steady mode, details are missing. So let's check it again. Here you can see that yes, for the stabilization it actually loses the details here. Yeah, you can see that it is actually more stable, but details are actually not that good. Yeah, the color reproduction is also looking a bit faded here. Yeah, so I must say that the normal OIS with 1080p without any super steady mode is looking better. Yeah, here you can see that it is actually no, it is actually not looking that good. Yeah, so what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. It can also record 4K video, so let's try that as well. Now this is 4K sample, and the super steady mode doesn't work with 4K, or even it is not working with 1080p 60 fps. Okay, it works only with 30 fps 1080p video. You can see that because of the OIS, the autofocus is actually good. So I would suggest that if you want to record videos with this phone, then you should not enable the super steady mode. Without that, it is actually doing a good job. Even in 4K, the details are better without the super steady mode. So obviously super steady mode doesn't work with 4K, but still I would say that the stabilization is actually good, not bad. Obviously it is not that great, but yeah, considering the price and if you compare it with other devices, yeah, it is actually better. I must say that if your budget is around 20,000 and if you are looking for a device with good video recording capabilities, then this must be a good option, maybe the best one. Yeah, the dynamic range is also looking good. Yeah, not that bad actually. You can see that, and it can handle the exposure very well automatically. You can see the difference if you check the detail in the sky here. Okay, let me show this. You can see that, yeah, it automatically adjusts the exposure very well. I'm impressed actually. So what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Next, the still images. If we check the indoor selfies here, you can see that under good lighting, it can capture good looking images. Overall detailing is looking good, and I've liked the skin tones. It is very close to natural, I would say, and the sharpness, the color reproduction, if you check the color of the t-shirt, it is very close to natural. It is not that very oversaturated, but yes, if there is challenging light, you can see that it struggles to capture details, so that's there. So if there is good lighting, it can capture good amount of details. Overall image quality is looking good, so it's actually doing a good job. If we go outside, you can see that the details are better now, and the overall color reproduction, it is also good, but sometimes it over sharpens, that's there. And you can see that the dynamic range is also good. If you check the sky, the grass, it is actually looking good. I have really liked the dynamic range here. The exposure is very well handled here. So the selfie camera is actually doing a decent job. Under good lighting, it looks really good. Yeah, the overall image quality is actually good. So I'm really happy with the selfie shooter here. Next, the portrait shots. The front camera is actually doing a good job here. The overall image quality is actually quite good. Yeah, I must say that. And the skin tone is very close to natural, but sometimes it has a bit of warmer tones. If you observe the complexion here, you will see that it is on the warmer side. But in most of the cases, I found that the complexion is very close to natural, and the edge detection is also good. The depth effect is also looking good, and the overall image quality is quite polished here. So I must say that the front camera is doing a good job in taking, portrait shots. So you will love it actually. And if we switch to rear camera, here you will see that details are better, color consistency is there, and the edge detection is actually very precise. So you will have a really social media ready photos, portrait shots particularly, if you use these cameras. So I'm really impressed here. Another thing is that you don't have to struggle a lot to take portrait shots. This is what I found in most of the devices that I have tested recently. Here you don't have to struggle with the distance to get the proper effect. It is actually good. But if we switch to non-human object, here things change a bit. It is not that impressive. It is not looking that polished. If you observe the depth effect, the edge detection, they're not that good, but it is actually not that bad as well. But if you compare it with human object, here things are not that polished, but still they're looking good. So what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. And according to me, under 20,000, this device takes best looking portrait shots. So what do you think about it? The macro lens can take close-up shots, good looking photos, but color consistency is not there. Detailing is there, but you can see that it has a bit of warmer tones. Sometimes it is having oversaturated colors, but most of the times it is producing warmer looking colors. And yes, you have to have a stable hand, yeah, but most of the time you can click good looking images with good details. Yeah, it is there. So you can use it actually, but I don't use it normally. So if you use it, let me in the comments. The dynamic range in HDR photos, it is actually looking good. Here you can see that both the sky and the building, they are well exposed. Here again you can see the same thing. Overall image quality is looking good, the color reproduction is good, and I've liked the fact that it can handle the exposure very well. It is actually quite balanced, so the overall image quality is good. Yes, details could have been better. It is not that fine, but it is good actually. The overall image quality is looking good. The HDR shots are actually looking beautiful. According to me, it has the best wide-angle camera. If you compare it with other devices under 20,000, you can see that the overall image quality is quite polished. The dynamic range is actually looking good, although the details are not that great, but the overall image quality is actually quite good. Particularly, I have liked the balanced exposure, the dynamic range here. So finally, let's talk about the night photography or the low light photography. If there is adequate light, the front camera can capture good looking image. Here you can see that overall image quality is looking good. Although it is on the softer side, the color reproduction is not that vibrant. Even the details are not that sharp. Yeah, but still, if there is adequate light, you can use it. The image quality is good enough. But if there is challenging light, here you can see that it is struggling to capture light and details, and particularly the noise reduction is really poor here. I was actually expecting better than this. The rear camera captures more light and we can see the details as well, but still it is also not that good. But you can use it actually. Yeah, if there is enough light, good lighting, you can see that the overall image quality is good. The color reproduction is also good, not bad. But the light, if it goes low, very low, here you can see that the noise reduction is not good. I was actually expecting better than this. As I was saying, the overall image quality is actually quite average. Yeah, and if you compare it, let me show you this. Here the light is on. Yeah, you can see that here again with lights on, but if I'll turn off the light, here you can see that the details, they are gone. So I was actually expecting better low light photography from these two cameras. So guys, after checking on the samples, I believe that I've got a good idea about the cameras of this device. According to me, apart from a bit slow camera UI and low light photography, that is also a bit average. Apart from these two, I believe that the overall performance is actually quite good if I compare it with other devices under 20,000. Particularly if your topmost priority is video recording, then I believe that this is the best option. Yeah, it is actually quite stable. Yeah, particularly if you are recording at 1080p 30 fps, the video recording is very stable and the quality is also good. So if your topmost priority is video recording, then this is the best option for you. Plus the portrait shots are actually quite good, and you don't have to struggle with the the camera while taking portrait shots. You don't have to adjust the camera distance, the object, the angle. It is effortless, I would say. So overall camera performance is impressive. Yeah, you just have to compromise a bit with the performance if you go for this device. Otherwise, it is actually a quite balanced device from Samsung. So that's it in this video, guys. So what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. And if you end up liking my videos, then don't forget to like, subscribe. Cheers, guys.